Welcome to Jamaica Magazine. I am Theodore Henry. We have an interesting show lined up just for you, as this week, Get the Facts features the National Compliance and Regulatory Authority. We're learning about the authority's roles, their functions, and accomplishments. Believe me, it's information you'll want to hear, and you don't want to miss a minute. So stay tuned as the magazine unfolds.
So many wish they could visit our shores. We live where they vacation. Brand Jamaica beckons all from the four corners of the earth.
Well, as a Jamaican, I have great pride in selling it. Your pride that you sell Jamaica with is something that it rolls off. Jamaica has so much to offer, and every time I have the privilege of bringing an executive down to Jamaica, an executive from an airline or a tour operator or a travel agency, and you take them across the country, the pride that they said, wow, I can't imagine, especially when it's their first time. Wow, I love this.
Build it. Cherish it. Our wealth is Brand Jamaica.
The National Compliance and Regulatory Authority was set up to monitor and enforce compliance of standards for goods and services. Here to tell us more about how the entity does this is the CEO, Mrs. Laurice Edwards-Brown.
Welcome to Get the Facts, the program that provides you with information on government's policies and initiatives. I'm your host, Anthros Campbell. Our focus this week is on the monitoring and enforcement of compliance with standards for goods and services. And in studio is Laurice Edwards-Brown, Chief Executive Officer of the National Compliance and Regulatory Authority, the NCRA. Welcome to the program.
Thank you so much for having me.
Tell us about the NCRA. What's your role and function? You used to be a part of the Bureau of Standards, right? And now you're an entity, you're a sole entity. Talk to us about your role and function.
The NCRA is standing on the shoulders of a giant, the Bureau of Standards Jamaica. Since 2016, we are being empowered to carry out the regulatory functions, which normally would have been executed by the regulatory division of the Bureau of Standards Jamaica. Our mandate is to ensure safety, health and safety of goods and products that are offered to the public. And we do this by looking at our different programs, inspection, monitoring, and enforcement programs.
Yes. Why was it necessary, though, for you to be separated from the Bureau of Standards? Why was that necessary?
Simple answer, we say judge and jury. The Bureau of Standards, by the way in which it was functioning for, Bureau of Standards celebrating 50 years this year, we've had to change the way in how we operate. And coming out of a review of the nation and how we are responding to the needs of the World Trade Organization and trade facilitation, and also the cry of our local manufacturing entities, where the Bureau would go and do the inspections and then carry out the enforcement action, it slowed the pace at which the Bureau itself could help entities to maximize their potential in businesses. So then came the National Compliance Regulatory Authority, the NCRA, and our role and function is to monitor, to inspect, and to enforce the standards.
So talk to me about your resources. How equipped are you to carry out these functions?
We believe that as a regulator, none will say that they are totally fully equipped, but we manage with what we have by using our capable staff. We are about 55 members of staff strong, competent team. We're excited to make sure that the goods and services that are offered to the public, they are in compliance with the standards. We're located in 4 areas across the island plus Kingston. We're in Ocho Montego Bay, Savlamar, and we're also in Mandeville, and we're at office in Kingston and Hope Road.
With 55 persons.
With 55 persons in total.
Yes, yes. And not a bad number. Were you always that strong, or you've been recruiting people over?
We intend to
Yes.
recruit more as time goes by, but we intend also to get more efficient at what we do
Yes.
and to get more technologically savvy.
Yes.
We want to go out there and we're several programs that we're using now, or risk management programs. And we believe that if we use more of these programs and so on, then the people element will always be there, but we'll also be able to maximize our efficiencies, balancing the technology with the human element.
Well, talk to us about the monitoring process now.
Sure.
Yeah, how's it done, and where does it start? Where do you go, and where do you decide when you're going where?
Monitoring is exciting because we are people that we also use the goods that we are inspecting. Our families use it. We know that children use it, and the families in Jamaica, they're using it as well. So health and safety is paramount in our minds at all times. So if we look at something like the food process establishments, we look at products that are packaged for consumers. Our inspectors are in the food establishments. We check, we do the registration checks, we make sure that the systems and the processes and the end product, the goods that are placed on the marketplace, that they're really safe for consumption. And we do this by the physical checks in there. We take samples of the product as well. We do analysis of the test results and so on. And that's just one of our areas that we look at.
Well, what other areas do you look at?
We have other areas. For example, I'll tell you a bit about legal metrology.
Okay.
And it is an area where persons sometimes confuse metrology. Wow, what is that? Is it confused with weather, meteorology?
Right.
You know, but it is about weights and measures.
Yes.
Ensuring that you get what you pay for, and also that businesses also they are operating fairly, and that they too are getting what are dispensing what consumers are paying for. So it works both for the consumers and it works for the businesses as well. We also have our domestic market and our import market checks, and because we're also at the ports, and we're also in what we term the domestic market. That is where we go to the wholesale, the retail shops, the stores, the pharmacies, and we will look based on the labeling standards, labeling regulations, try to ensure that the products that are there are within the specifications of the legislation and of the labeling of the standards.
Well, how receptive are these entities to your coming to check their products?
Generally speaking, they are receptive. But we know that with every situation there are exceptions, and we do find that from time to time we may have entities that are not as receptive as we would like them to be at the onset. But eventually, when we explain to them, we find that persons were resisting probably because they did not know of the thoroughness of the laws that exist for them in the industry in which they operate. So generally there is little or no pushback, and there are time to time that we do have to encourage persons to be responsive, and then eventually we get the compliance.
So do you have a schedule, so you go here today and you won't go back until probably 3 months' time, or do you have a kind of a schedule?
Our program is set based on risk management. So there is no specific scheduling of all the programs that we do. We do routine checks and we do random checks as well. There are some programs where we'll carry out a check perhaps every 6 months. And also based on how we do a risk categorization, we may need to go back to an entity maybe once, twice per month, 3 times per month, but it depends on where you are when we analyze the risks that are involved.
Tell me what you look for. For example, you do monitoring of petrol stations. Tell me what you look for. What do you look for?
For the petrol stations, we look at the pumps. Is it that the pumps are dispensing? What is it that you're paying for? So our people were accustomed to buying, say, $2,000 worth of whatever petrol product that we use. So there is always the unseen hand there, because you wouldn't perhaps see us in operations when we're there to make sure that what is it that you're paying for, you're actually getting. So we'll check the pumps. Is it dispensing accurately? And is it quality of the product that you're buying, whatever petroleum product it is the quality within the specification? So those are some of the things that we'll do at the petrol stations.
Yeah. Do you check labels as well and wait for food stuff?
Certainly.
Because sometimes I go to supermarket and I see things that I can't read anything on it.
Yes, that is true. But when we look at labels, there is also the responsibility that we're asking the consumers to partner with us.
Yes.
We know that there are certain things that you perhaps won't know beyond the labels, and we appreciate that. But we ask you to partner with us. Look at the labels.
Yes.
Did the label tell you where the product was made?
Yes.
Who is distributing the product? How do you care
Right.
for it? Did you tell you the content, the ingredients?
Yeah. And then we can make a suggestion to you. We can tell you where we saw these products and so on.
We'd
and
love
then
for you to do that.
Yes.
If it is that you're not sure, give us a call, 926-314-025. And we welcome your suggestions on how we can serve you better.
Okay. Let's take the break here and continue with what happens when a product or service is below the approved standard level. Stay with us.
We want a productive Jamaica. We are not productive Jamaicans. Productivity to move forward on this land. Productivity, that's the way to go, we should understand. Productivity is the way to go for all us Jamaicans. Small business, big business, old and young, we are tell every woman and man. We want growth and prosperity for a better nation with a building plan. So we can build our product and sell our product and put more money in our hand. Our economy can rise to a level and build a better nation. Productivity to move forward on this land. Productivity, that's the way to go, we should understand. Productivity to move forward on this land. Productivity, that's the way to go, we should understand. Productivity.
Productivity, Pathway to Prosperity. A message brought to you by the Jamaica Productivity Center, a department of the Ministry of Labor and Social Security.
Welcome back to Get the Facts. In the previous segment, the National Compliance and Regulatory Authority, NCRA, took us through the monitoring process of products and services to ensure compliance to standards. We continue the conversation now with the Chief Executive Officer, Louise Edwards-Brown, looking at the area of enforcement. But before that, we're talking about monitoring. Tell me about your monitoring function at the ports.
At the ports, our main focus is looking at goods that are coming in to see if the goods are in compliance with the standards of the country. So there is a program, for instance, that we have been engaged in since 2017, and it involves a sampling of petroleum products that are coming into the island. And since then, what we do, all the petroleum products that are coming in, we ensure that we inspect. We take samples, and these samples are sent to an accredited lab, and then we do the analysis. And these products, petroleum products, are not released to the marketplace until they receive a certificate of quality from us, which gives the assurance that they meet the specification.
Yes. That is interesting, because that means we won't have a repeat of the whole bad gas scenario that happened some months ago. It should help.
We're trying to ensure that we seek to mitigate the risks that are there.
Right. What happens to other goods now that you identify as substandard or, below par? What happens to those?
From time to time, we find goods that are not in compliance with the standard, and there are times when these products can what we call rehabilitated, meaning that the goods may be able to, the importer may be able to work on them and bring them within specification. For example, if it's a labeling breach, they can adjust the labeling and make sure that it is within compliance. Other times, we have to detain the products. We seize, we withdraw from the shelves, and there are times when, based on the risks involved, we must go to destruction. Because if the risk is speaking to health and safety, then we go to destruction. And this involves ensuring that an independent observer is there, the JP is there, the importer is there, to make sure that the products do not re-enter the marketplace in some other location. So
Yes,
it is.
yes.
It's a thorough process.
Okay. So what are some of the main products and services that you find are mostly in breach of your standard and regulations?
At this point in time, and in recent times, we cannot pick any single product that is most often in breach. We find that from time to time, one particular area or one particular industry, there are things that will pop up from time to time, but we believe that is based on our intervention and our programs that we have embarked on, that we find that compliance is strengthening.
Good.
And we applaud the efforts of our inspectors and the support team.
Yes, yes.
We're very vigilant in ensuring that our inspection program is very robust.
Right. So what do you do with offenders?
Offenders, our legislation allows us to go to the extreme where we may take persons to the court. There are fines that are levied from time to time. And of course, the proprietors will feel it in their pockets too when their products are destroyed, detained, or withdrawn from the shelves. So it's part and parcel of the package that is ruled out based on the risk assessment of the proprietor and the entity and the product. So we have a range of enforcement measures that we may carry out from time to time.
So when you identify someone who is in breach,
Yes.
would you right away, you would not take them to the court right away? What kind of help, what kind of service is there for these persons or entities?
Our first approach is never to go to the extreme. We try to work with our clients to make sure that the health and safety is on the forefront of everyone's mind. So is it that the product can be fixed? Is it that you must recall the product? Is it that the product must be destroyed? And we go through that assessment, and based on the risks that are involved, then an enforcement measure will be executed. And so we find that by engaging our clients more, we find that the compliance levels have gone up.
So do you provide any kind of training?
Certainly we do. We do have a program called Compliance Connect. And what we have been doing is going across the island, and we seek to offer more sensitization, more training to our proprietors, and we welcome them to also to say to us what are some of these areas that you have challenges with, because we collaborate with other agencies, the Bureau of Standards, for their training unit, because it may be that there are some specific challenges that you're having, and we can assist you by pointing you in the right direction. But as an entity on our own, we do carry out sensitization training for our clients.
And how does the NCRA enforce compliance of the standards and regulations?
Well, we look to the monitoring, we look to the registration program, we look to the risk programs that we rule out. We ensure that the staff are also knowledgeable and competent and excited to go to work, and with a healthy mix of investors who also want to maintain their businesses and to continue to offer products to the public. We find that the compliance is there, and we work to strengthen the regime for all persons to be satisfied.
Right. So your agency is like 3 years old, right?
Yes,
are you finding that it is getting better each year? People are more compliant?
Generally speaking, people are more, but there are pockets though where we need to make some more intervention, and we're working on that with our programs that we continue to rule out and continue to sensitize the proprietors on.
Yes. Can consumers make reports to you, and if so, how?
As consumers, we want you to tell us where is it that you see challenges. From time to time, persons will come to us and they will say things. We will investigate. But if it is that you want redress, we also encourage you to contact the Consumers Affairs Commission. But if you're in doubt, if you're going to be buying a product, if you're going to say buy a block, because we do inspect for building blocks, and you're not sure whether or not this product meets the standard specification, call us, 926-3140, and we'll be able to assist you as best as possible.
All right, what about your website?
We're working on our website. We hope that by the end of October, we'll be able to roll out ncra.org.jm.
Thank you so very much for sharing with us today on Get the Facts. This has been Get the Facts with our guest Larice Edwards-Brown, Chief Executive Officer of the National Compliance and Regulatory Authority, the NCRA. To watch this program again, log on to our social media handle, YouTube/WatchJIS, and stay connected via our website at jis.gov.jm. Until next time, I'm Enthros Campbell. Take care.
Keep we island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it. Keep we island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it.
No dash, no paper, no dash, no plastic. Dispose your garbage responsibly. No know how to recycle, learn it quick. And if you drop it, better pick up every piece of it. Plastics last forever, don't forget the bits. Cause when them touch the street, them end up in the sea. Collect pan the reef where they fish them feed. And when you want seafood, I eat your
Keep
eat.
we island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it. No dirty up Jamaica, no dirty up Jamaica, no dirty up Jamaica, no dirty up Jamaica.
Week 1 of school has been completed and the students have all settled. Now it's time to spruce things up a bit, especially in the reading department. Check this out.
Readers are leaders. Can you say that with me? Readers are...
National Reading Week 2018 saw the JIS partnering with the St. George's Girls Primary and Infant School in showcasing their inaugural reading fair.
This is St. George's Girls Primary and Infant School, the only all-girls primary school within Jamaica. We are focusing mainly on students from infant and the lower primary level. And I believe that if you can catch the children in the foundation years, you will catch them for life. Read your Bible, pray every day, you will grow, grow, grow. And so for a reason like that, I would not want to keep an exhibition like this to ourselves. We want to spread it to our neighboring schools like St. Joseph Infant, Aloysius Primary, and Tivoli High, for them to come and be a part of this project.
The fair boasted a number of activities coined in such a way that the little ones and the big ones too would find reading fun and exciting.
What is happening now is that a lot of children don't like to read anymore. And so when we're able to venture out into something like this, it's always a wonderful opportunity. Also, we have different persons coming in to read to the girls. We have the Jamaica Reading Association, we have persons from the Heritage Trust, and we also have persons from JIS. After that, the girls come down and they participate by purchasing books.
Now, our theme that we are using for this year in the Jamaica Reading Association, as you have it put up here, build a sustainable future through literacy.
I believe it is an opportune time, it is relevant, because with this technological age where the gadgets do all the reading for them, they are not into the book reading. So we decided that we would have this reading fair, and it's the first of its kind in this institution. When persons are able to read, to evaluate, to synthesize, to put together the information, we'll find that we will accomplish sustainable growth that way when our persons are literate, and particularly our students, because they are the future for tomorrow.
Look at this nice eye. You want to have an eagle eye? Yeah, pretty eye, don't it? Yeah, imagine me with an eagle eye. Yeah. You look pretty with an eagle eye. Now, guess what an eagle eye can do?
The JIS decided to participate in the event because of the importance literacy plays in the development of a nation.
Anything to do with national development is a big plus for the JIS. Today we were able to mount a booth through which we shared magazine, pamphlets, books, with resources about Jamaica.
Working hard to guide these little ones in reading are our teachers.
Sometimes I might give them a question and they have to go to the library to find that question. Some days I might ask about a particular book that I know is in the library, and I give an award to the girl who is able to answer the question because she must have read it to answer the question. We also have Drop Everything and Read every afternoon after lunch.
Parents must also do their part to help their children become excellent readers.
I think parents themselves must be readers. So their children should see them reading, and not just reading just one particular material, but a variety of materials, so that they know that reading is not just a book. And secondly, parents must not allow the students to think that reading is a chore. You know, like sometimes when they're doing something bad and the parents say, go take up your book. No, it should be something fun. So they should find fun ways to read together with the children and read to them sometimes as well, so that they can find something to emulate. And also, they can make sure that they are a part of a library, so that if they are not able to provide as many of the variety of books that they need, they can do so at the library.
What is the name of the book you guys read today?
What if you had animal eyes?
What's your favorite eye?
My favorite eye was the leopard eye. I have the eye that I used to see in the dark. I like the dragon eye. I like the leopard's eye and the fish eye.
I believe the day has gone successfully, and we will now make it an annual thing because we really want to stimulate the interest of the students. We want them to see the importance of reading, to want to read, and ultimately to make reading a hobby.
Jamaica Social Investment Fund, JSIF, celebrating over 20 years of investment in community development. JSIF has forged relationships with international funding partners as well as private and public sector entities. Let us continue to invest to reduce vulnerabilities. Let us build our social capital and resilient infrastructures to ensure full participation in Vision 2030. JSIF, investing for community development.
The Jamaica Business Development Corporation, JBDC, will be hosting its 2019 Employee Engagement Conference at the Jamaica Conference Center in October. The theme for this year is Employee Experience 3D: Design, Develop, Deliver. Check this out. The two-day conference will have more than 30 speakers and will focus on various topics, including employee engagement policy creation, health and wellness, and brain-based formula for emotional engagement.
It will definitely be an experience for corporate leaders. It will be an experience for businesses. So we want persons to come out. It will be on October 16 to 17, 2019 at the Jamaica Conference Center. We'll start promptly at 7:30 a.m. with registration. Registration is still going on. You can register online, www.jbdc.net.
I'm going to share with you a case from last year where a company had registered 10 managers to attend the conference. And these managers, they receive a mandate. When you attend this conference, you're supposed to come back and you will be held accountable, for the engagement of the persons in your unit. So the engagement score was actually tied to their performance measurement as a manager, and a lot of companies are now doing that because to register for this conference is an investment, and as a leader in your organization, you must secure your investment by holding the persons accountable who attend these conferences so that they show you what have they garnered from the conference.
The Jamaica Business Development Corporation's Employee Engagement Conference, one more avenue laid to help make Jamaica the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business. Thanks for watching another edition of Jamaica Magazine. Join us again tomorrow when we'll do this all over again. Send your feedback on today's show to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm. Also, follow us on our social media pages, that's Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Download our app on your Apple and Android devices, and you can also visit our website at jis.gov.jm for more information. On behalf of the entire production crew, I am Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.